Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Brittany. I read books, I review books, I recommend books. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm happy that you decided to click on another video, another book review. And I am, in fact, here with another book review. So today we are going to be talking about The Lagos Wife by Vanessa Walters. And I really enjoyed this book. I actually have been like hearing about it. I don't know, like I would see it a couple times. Like there was this one lady actually that I saw reading it on the train, and I saw her like more than once. And I'm like, and like an older black lady, and I'm like, what is she reading? And then I saw it. And so I was like, it's a small book, like really small, thin, um, under $20. This is 18.99. So I was like, I'm kind of in between books right now. Let me just pick one up. So I was like, why not? And I'm actually really glad I did because, like I said, I enjoyed this book. So I'm excited to talk about it and get into like all the things. So the premise of the story is there's this girl, this lady, her name is Nicole Oruwari. And she originally lived in London but met a Nigerian man, and they got married, and so she ended up moving back to Nigeria, and has like seemingly like a really good life. They live in almost like a palace. They have like servants and people that tend to their every want and need. She has money. She has like they have a name for themselves and for the family. She has a good group of friends called the Nigerwives. It's just like you would think that from the outside looking in, her life is pretty amazing. But then, come to find out, she goes on like this boat ride and then never comes home, right? So in London, she used to live with her an aunt who is kind of like there's like two-ish main characters. So her aunt Claudine realizes like, wait, my niece is missing, and y'all, the family by y'all, aren't really taking it like as seriously as it needs to. So I'm coming over there and I'm coming over to figure out what's going on. So and then the whole story just like goes through of like the aunt trying to figure out like what's happening. There's like a bunch of which I'll get into, different timelines and point of views. But the point is, it's kind of like a mystery thriller of like what happened to Nicole Oruwari. And the whole book is pretty much just suspense, like all the way mystery thriller, all the way down to the end until you like find out or don't find out what happens. So let me get into my likes. So I have on my phone right here all my likes, dislikes, and themes. So my likes. So the first thing I really enjoyed about this book is the like layout. So they have times in the book where it would be Nicole before the disappearance. So in this book, on this chapter, you'll see it says Nicole before. Then you'll see like here it says Claudine after the disappearance. So I really liked that. I feel like it was good that they showed a little diversity of like what's going on instead of just like going in like a normal timeline, which was fun. And as you can see, there's different people talking. It's mostly just Nicole and Claudine. There's no one else really, if I remember right. Except like, yeah, there's mostly just those two going back and forth. And then there is a like an epilogue at the end, which no one is not really like about anyone. Um Actually, it is from someone's point of view, but I won't tell you whose. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. The before and after, the timeline, the different point of views. So like I said, the aunt is Jamaican, or like she was born and raised in Jamaica, and then after a while she moved her family, they like brought her over to London. So I liked that there were like, like some Caribbean references, being a Caribbean gal myself. That's always like great to see and pick up on in a book. Um, the so I said the book itself is short, but also the chapters are really short. Like you could it's not like laborious to get through the chapters because like I always say, nobody wants to read like a 50-page chapter. It's just too much. So the chapters are short, the book itself is short. You could easily like read this in a couple of days if you have the time. The suspense did not stop. Like from the beginning of the book all the way till the end, I feel like I was constantly trying to like figure out like which of these characters is responsible, like if Nicole is even still alive, like who's telling the truth, who's lying, like the suspense just goes, and I love that. I'm not usually like a suspense mystery thriller girly, but this book had like the right amount of like Caribbean influence, like African American or African influence, and it really made me intrigued. And I like the suspense. I do have a quick note about the suspense, but that's coming up in my dislikes section. I also learned like quite a bit of information about like Lagos and the Nigerian like culture of like surrounding weddings or just like existing. So the Nicole lady married into a family where like there's like a father, a mother, then the son, which is who she married, Tonier, and then you just get to see like the hierarchy of like what it's like being a part of an African or a Nigerian family and the stresses that come with that. Um, so I got to learn a little bit more of that, and also just like the whole concept of like Nigerwives. Like I feel like I don't know if I knew that that existed, but to know that not only is it a concept in this book, but like a real life concept of like women coming together to have some sort of like community and like just like a friendship group just based off the fact that like they were foreign and they married someone from Nigeria. I just thought that that was interesting. So they would like come together and have like weekly or monthly meetings, and they would talk about how like charities or like whatever they could do to support each other, and also like gossip. And so it's like interesting to read about in the book, but then to also know like this actually exists, that I was like, oh, interesting. Y'all can let me know if you knew that that like existed and like that was a thing. And then my last like was that Aunt Claudine was a boss. Like she came from London. She was like, what's going on? Where's my niece? Oh, you're not doing nothing? Okay, I'm gonna figure it out for myself. Like, oh, you paying this person, you doing this to keep it on the hush. Oh, I'm gonna go to the high commissioner. Like she was not playing. Granted, like if someone that you love is missing, like that's not something to play about. But I just loved like her character and the story that they told of her. Um, you get to like you're learning about her in the present as she's trying to figure out like what happened to Nicole, but then you're also like getting like some backstory about her and like some of the things that she's been through. And when I tell you she's a boss, you'll see for yourself. She is an absolute boss. Let's get into my dislikes. So I only have two dislikes, which is actually not bad. So I'm gonna actually read a little bit of the book to explain the first dislike. So I feel like the intensity roller coaster was like they could be better like during conversations. So throughout the whole book it was intense and there it was suspense and all that good stuff, but there would be like certain conversations where it would be like really intense and then all of a sudden like just like drop down to like, yeah, like everything's okay. And I'm like, this is not how a normal conversation goes, you know what I mean? Like if things are intense, things are intense. So I have made a note of like on page 216 during a conversation. So let me see if I hopefully I can find it, and it shouldn't be too much of a spoiler. So 216, let's see. Right, okay, so here we go. I'm gonna, I don't think that this part is giving away anything, and also I might just kind of like skim through so that I don't reveal too much. So You haven't lied to anyone? Asked Johanna. Are you delusional? Nicole said nothing. Had she really lied? Had Tonya really asked? Did Bilal count as someone who could be lied to? He was just a driver. I could give an F about Kemi, said Johanna. There's more fish in the sea. But of all the people to sit in judgment, he stood and stretched, then walked around the apartment looking at his paintings. What do you think of them? He asked. Nicole shrugged. I like them. Better than keeping them on the floor in my house, I guess, he said. No space, I have so many. Yeah, they're very nice. Nicole checked her phone for any text from Elias. Nothing. She tried calling him, but it didn't connect. Which one is your favorite? Kemi is the expert on art. I just listen to whatever she says. Yeah, we had that in common. He looked down at the table. Did you study art or art history? He snorted. No Nigerian parent lets their kids study art. Okay, I'm gonna pause right there. They were just having at the beginning there was like a majorly like intense like argument, like you lied, you're delusional, you think you haven't lied to anyone, blah blah blah, I can give a f about blah blah blah, like that. And then literally like a few lines down it's like, what do you think of these paintings? Which one's your favorite? I don't know. I think for me, I just feel like there were a couple of situations where it's just like a heated argument, and then all of a sudden it's just like random conversations, which I feel like could happen in real life. But it just seemed like a little bit like woo, especially right there, and I wanted to like bring that up. Not saying that that like is taken away from the book at all. It's just like a little something that you notice, you know. And then my second dislike, and that would be it, is that there are lots of words in here that like African or like Nigerian. I'm not really sure like exactly the language. Let me not say African or Nigerian, but like words in here that like it has no like context or translation really. Not context, no translation. And so I had to like go looking up like what the words meant. So like they describe like the outfit, the matching fabric of the outfit with like the top, the skirt, the wrap, and they like use that word, and it was just like, okay, give us a little something. I always say that like whenever I read a book that has different words like from a different language, I'm like, I feel like you could either give us like in parentheses or like a little glossary, but again it doesn't really take away from the book because I could just look it up, which I did and had a better understanding. But you know, give us a little something, you know, or not, it's your book. I still liked it anyway. So those are my short list of dislikes. The book was great. There is though, so here are the themes. There is some mention of like domestic violence, and sexual abuse. So just like, and it's not a lot, but just quick trigger warning in case that's something that like you don't want to read about. There is some in there's like some parts that talk about like slavery and referencing just like the connection between like somebody living in Nigeria and then being of like Jamaican descent and trying to like figure out like the connection between those two. So that's mentioned. Very rough like mother daughter relationships throughout generations. That's a pretty big theme. Like I said, understanding what it's like to like be married into a Nigerian household, especially if like you are not Nigerian, and like the cultural and the isolation and the confusion that could come with that. So just some big themes to like look out for. And then the last part that I thought was worth mentioning. So in the, I want to say, where did I find this? I think it was in the author's note or maybe the acknowledgements. I can't remember, but I saw somewhere. Wait, where did I even find that? That's so crazy. I don't know where I found it, but it had said that the book or the author, Vanessa, was kind of like in talks with HBO to like, I guess, come up with either like a movie or a show about the book. And I'm like, yes, like I love that. Number one, get your coins, sis. But I love that, especially because when Black Cake came out on Hulu, I was like, oh my god, like I read the book, like now I get to see it, and it was done so well. So if that is true and it actually does like follow through, um, I would definitely be tuning in. So I hope that that materializes. And then, so as a quick little note, and then also the other quick note was that this book was actually called The Nigerwife. And I learned that it was changed to The Lagos Wife. Um, Number one, the main reason was like because they liked like the more fun design and how it like a more like vibrant cover, but also because of pronunciation problems, right? Because like a lot of people who don't know that like there's like a place in Africa where they would say like Niger, they would just see Niger and think something else. So I understand fully the author changing it to the Lagos wife. Um, and I just thought that that was like two really cool points to add to what I wanted to say about the book. So and I was just talking for a very long time. But overall, I really, like I said, I enjoyed the book. It was suspenseful. It was fun. I learned a lot. I felt a connection to the some of the characters in the book, and it ended in a satisfactory way for me. So I gave this book actually 5 stars on my Goodreads account, I believe. And so let me know if this book is on your TBR. Let me know if you've read it already. I love, love, love when people like, it doesn't have to be like right in the moment, but like I'm still getting comments on my videos from like years ago or months ago, and I'm like, yes, like I feel so seen, and like you share your thoughts and we get to like, you know, bounce comments and ideas off of each other. So if you've read it before, definitely comment and let me know what you think. It's kind of it's been out for a little while. It came out in, it's not that new, 2023. So it's been a while. So I feel like a lot of people would have already reviewed. And yeah, you can let me know your thoughts. So 5 stars from me. Definitely recommend. Definitely go read, especially if you want like some suspense, a quick short book, under $20. No complaints. And that's it from me. If you haven't subscribed or liked this video yet, please do so now. And I will see you guys in the next book review or vlog. Bye.